Hi YouTube, it is me, Sarah. Sorry if you hear any weird dings or if you hear any licking or chewing or whining. I have a dog that stays in here with me at night, and she is currently down below. Also, if you hear any scuffling about there are other people in the house, you may also hear my mother's phone conversation with my grandmother, as she likes to put people on speakerphone and then proceeds to yell. So I will go ahead and forewarn you with that. Goodness, I don't even really know where to begin on a lot of things. I had high hopes for this year to do either monthly videos or bi-weekly videos, but nothing has really come to fruition in that regard. I kind of got really smacked in the face at the end of January by life itself, as it tends to do. I'm not really going to go into details of that. If you follow me on social media, you probably already know about all the ins and outs. But I kind of just want to show you what things I've really been stitching as far as over the course of last month and the beginnings of this month. So I have had a lot of jumping around a little bit between a few projects. I don't even have that other one. What do I? Minor pause for a moment because I totally couldn't remember if I had a project over here or not. And I still don't know. But that's okay. Excuse me. I do have some things that I've got as far as like planned for this year to start. I have the fabric already cut. I've got some extra fabric that I've got to figure out what to do with. But yeah, this month, well, last month has been a so last month I kind of wound up not really stitching a lot on my older projects, mainly because of the life things that happened, and I couldn't really cope with working on some of these projects. I still haven't fully wrapped my head around picking some of them up. I've been trying to pick up a few here and there, but it's mainly been a lot of newer things that I've started and just will get to a certain point and then I'll be like, okay, I can't deal with this one anymore. I've just had loads of major anxiety battles with it, and but I won't go into detail any further. I just don't want it to be all about that. There's a lot of there's just a lot. So most of the things you will probably see from me in this video are new starts. There are a few things that are a little older that were already started, and they were things that I was okay with grabbing to work on. But for the most part, let go. Got stuck. Okay, there we go. But for the most part, I am missing one. Pardon. No, that's not it. Well, I'm sorry. You're right there. Cannot help it when you are indeed. Okay. One place to be. Okay, that was fun. My dog just happens to be right in the space where I keep a lot of my whips and the actual one that I needed to grab. But anywho, so there have been a few things that I have been able to pick back up that were older, and I've worked a little bit on them here and there, but not a whole lot. I will not, there's one that I can't show because it's buried, and I'm not going to go digging for that right now. But, there's been some stuff, and I have one new start that I'm sure if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me posting about it a lot, and it's been the one that has really grasped my attention, and okay, and it is the one that has in a way been the most like therapeutic, if you will. No, I'm not going to do a whip parade anytime soon. It's not something that is on my to-do list for now. If I do one, my dog looks like she just put herself in timeout, but she's probably just thinking I should be turning off the lights because it is almost 9 o'clock and usually that's lights out. So, she's breathing rather. No, don't do that. Sorry. She is I refer to her a lot as my four-legged. She is my four-legged child, and I love her to the inch of my life, to every. I know, but you've already had your cookie. You did. Yeah. So anyway, now that you just see me have a conversation with my dog that you can't see, and she's going to continue this. So, I am so sorry. My dog is very vocal in ways when she wants to get attention. She's a whiner. That's just who she is. You're okay. You're okay. Mommy's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh well. So without much more derailing, things that I've worked on. I'm sorry if you're affected by zippers and crinkles. I was not prepared, so zippers and crinkles are what's going to happen. The one that I was trying really hard to finish this last month, or ooh, probably since February, but that didn't really work. But I was definitely trying to finish it last month, and I just kept running into counting error, and that was my own fault, but my brain was elsewhere, and that is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitch Resale that was from, I think, 2017, which is the sweetest pie. I have it on the called for fabric, which is crystal sand, cashel linen. It's 28 count, so it's 28 count 2/2, and I got all the called for threads, which is Weeks Dye Works and DMC. There are no metallics. This was my first time stitching on, not the first time stitching on linen, I don't think. Maybe it was. It might have been. This might have been the first time I stitched on linen. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. This might have been the first time I stitched on linen. I know it's definitely my first ever, like, opalescent fabric. But anywho, this is the sweetest pie. Now, I had, this past year, I had all except for this one done. Well, I had all of this up here, this part, this guy, and that guy done. But I didn't have this one done, so I finished this one, and then I did these 4 down here and this guy. And I had brought this border, the round like pie crust border, was all the way down to the middle, and then I realized I had a counting error, which I had ripped it all the way back out, started putting it back in, and I think I've got to check it again, but I feel like I've got another little bit of a counting error again, where I'm going to have to rip back out again and then put back in a little bit more. I've been struggling with it. It is what it is, but it's getting there. It's definitely over the halfway point, and it is the closest thing to being done, so hopefully it will be done definitely this year. I would love for it to be. So there's, so that's the one of the first ones that was older that I've been trying to deal with. The next one that is a little older, I don't even remember when I started. Like, when I started this, it might have been in 2015. So I was trying to work on this every month to finish a square. And I was doing great up until last month. Last month's was the one that I didn't get all the way completed. I just have the back stitching to do on it, which is fine. I don't mind doing back stitch. I haven't even stitched on it this month, and I kind of just pushed this one a little bit to the wayside because I was highly emotional while I was working on it in March, and I just didn't want to deal with it. And that is Coffee Break by Design Works. It is a kit, and I am using the called for fabric and threads that came with the kit, and that is 14 count Aida. This was also a oh gosh, who's this? I have this random person that just messaged me asking me if I was okay, and I questioned who it was. Had major anxiety about who it could have been, and now they're asking me if this is somebody else's number. I've never heard of you before. So I'll go back with him in a minute, because that just freaked me out. Anywho, let me get this out of here, because I kind of want to use this hoop. This is my... I'm going to struggle today, or this evening. Oof. This is my first Nerge hoop, and I'm a little impressed. Of course I went with green, because if nobody knows, green is my absolute favorite color. I do know how to talk with words. Green is my favorite color, so I went with the green hoop. Anywho, this is where I'm at. I have struggled with this pattern because, like, at the beginning when I struggled with it, it was because it was on a low count fabric. Because I don't like low count fabric. However, everything that I've stitched on over the last few months have been on 14, 16, and 18 count. And I have absolutely fallen in love with them for whatever reason. Except for the one that I've been working on most recently. That one is on a higher count. And a lot of that was because I couldn't stand some of the full coverage pieces that I have because I was being emotional. And of course, I was struggling with my eyes. I'm still struggling with my eyes, but there are moments where it fluctuates, so it's not quite as bad. Anywho, back to this. So this fabric is a 14 count Aida, but it's very, very soft Aida. So I have the most struggle problem I had on, so this was the January block, which I cheated because this was the one that was most finished, which is the Cafe au Lait. And then the next most finished was the February block, which is the Irish Coffee. And this was March's block, which is just coffee, but I did not get the back stitch in. I was supposed to, I think, do this one next, is where I was going to go, because I had already started this one. But I just haven't done the back stitching, and I'd rather complete the back stitching before starting in on the stitching for the next block. So that's perfectly fine. I'm not worried about it in any way, shape, or form right now. The biggest problem I have with this fabric is that because it's so soft, when I have tried to do the, I had this one was fine, and it was the French knots are my issue, because every time I do the French knot and I pull, it just slips right back to the back, and it's because the fabric is soft. So I bought beads to put on at the end, and I'm hoping that will work. I'm hoping that's a great solution, because it was cute. Because it's cute. So I have completely finished all the way to of them, and then I've got this one that just needs to be back stitched, and then this one needs to be stitched. Well, they all need to be stitched. But the idea was I was supposed to do one of these a month, and I would have it done at the end of the year, which was a great idea because there were 12 coffees. But I've kind of just thrown it to the wayside because of emotional stress. As we do. Maybe one day I will pick it back up, but today is not that day. So, the most recent, like older project that I picked up is another. This is a Dimensions. Yeah, this is a Dimensions kit, and it is the Star Wars Stormtrooper. I don't know if you're gonna see that very well. It's all blues. I pulled this out at a doctor's appointment. Well, I have Crohn's disease, and I go every 2 months. I go every 2 months to get medication. So it is I get IV medication. And so I will take a cross-stitch project usually. So this is how far I am. By all means, this should be done so fast because it's so small. Right. No, it will not, because for some reason, it might be small, but it's highly blocky in color, and I do okay with blocks of color for some stuff, but other stuff not so much. So this one, well, I love this particular project because I'm a good Star Wars fan. I didn't realize how much of a fan I was. Ooh, oh, sorry. I didn't realize how much of a fan of Star Wars I was until the other day, when I realized that the media is pronouncing something wrong, and yeah, it kind of I got annoyed. So, yay, I'm a big fan apparently of Star Wars. which is dopey, but I do have a lot of Star Wars charts because I have this one. I have another one that I'm going to show you. I have two more, three more. I had at least 4 or 5. I don't remember. I can't remember anymore. I'm losing count. My brain is muddled a lot. Anywho, yeah, so this one I was like, I'll get this done really fast when I was first starting it. I was like, it'll be super simple. It's not large. I did some calculations and it's only roughly 7,000 stitches. However, that is including like the blank white space that was around in the chart because I just counted and it's roughly that size. So, you know, brain is like, I could do that in a month, but I'd have to really just sit and work on it. The block colors have just not been me on this piece for the time being, but that is as far as I got. I'm Stormtrooper. February stitching was mainly on this particular kit that I started in February. Sorry, something kind of in there. I started this because I needed something new. Life had just exploded and I needed something new, and my something new was a Dimensions kit of Yoda. And I diligently worked on him for the majority of February. My brain was not able to focus on a whole lot of nothing. And Yoda, I would say he's probably a good, I want to say anywhere from like, he could be a good halfway done or more. He's not really completely like an entire square or rectangular piece. I don't know. He's only got one actual true corner on the piece. So I've already discovered like the far left and the bottom, and I've almost gotten all the way up to the top. This is how far I got. So I started him in February. I started in the middle, and this is where he is. So I got to where I had started working on his face, his head, and yeah, his hands are pretty much, I think, all the way complete. I have almost completed the lantern. Got a little bit of stitching that I've got to do around it. I've done the back stitching bit in the light of the lantern, which is hard to see. So I've already completed one of the back stitch colors. I've completed a good chunk of the colors because I started, for some reason I got to a certain point and I was like, I'm just going to start color completing. So I've completed a few of them, and this bit was very heavily stitched in. Easy, but it was fun to go through because I would kind of pick a spot and then I'd go, well, I'll stitch like a few links here, and then I would move to another spot and stitch a few links. So this side, I'm almost all the way over. I think I have one more color in the half stitch to do. There you go. But most of it is done on that side. And of course the corner is somewhere over here. But I think I'm almost as far over into this edge as I'm going to get. And this is the bottom. Obviously this is the side. And I just have like maybe, I want to say maybe out to there is that side. And then he'll probably come up to about here-ish, here-ish maybe. So I don't know. He's not very too far off. I got this entire shoulder is completely done. Yeah, this entire area right here is completely stitched all the way in. And I was working on this shoulder area here. I was going to bring his robes down. I've been working on this section too. It's all going to come together. When I do work on him, he does actually move very quickly. Just like I thought he would whenever I was just like, we're doing this. I felt like once I got into it, it would just move around very fast. And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to do anymore. I had ordered a bunch of new stuff out of like impulse buying from stress. And then I wound up starting some stuff. So it just kind of, my stress meter and everything else kind of just went. Oh, you know what? There's this one. There's one more. Well, there is one more that I'm missing that I'm not going to be able to show you because I don't know where I put it. I don't know where I had it. Where I have it. It's probably up under the bed again, where I pulled out the other one. But that's okay. That's the She Sleeps, and I haven't really gotten very far on it, so it's fine. So the next thing that I started, which also is going to probably come out of this hoop, because I want to use the hoop. So the next one that I started was a new kit that I had bought in a group of kits, and it was my first Reolist kit. Now I'm curious as to where I put that project, because I had it, and I don't know where. I put it up here with me. I'm gonna have to find that. I'm sure it's under there. I could pause this and then start off again. I'll do that. Anywho, it is a Reolist kit, and it's not really huge, which is great. Should practice, because big stuff is not something I need. This one is Lovebirds. I've never worked with Reolist, and I was very intrigued by the wool acrylic thread. I like the way it feels after I've stitched it. I'm not sure I'm a fan of stitching with it. Like, I don't mind stitching with it whenever it's one thread, but whenever they blend two colors together, this is where I got started in the middle, which happened to be with a bird. So that was exciting. And of course it was like a gravitational thing to the bright yellow orangey colors. But as I said, I don't really know how I feel about the wool acrylics yet. Jury is still out on that one. I need to see if I can find the pause. I'm going to see if I can find She Sleeps, and I'll be right back. Ta-da! Yay. Okay. So, debacle there. We got all kinds all over the place. That was fun. So, one of the old projects that I thought was buried was not buried. It was not buried. Joke's on me. So, I don't remember what month it was that I wound up pulling this out. I just kind of felt like I was gravitating towards the bright This is one of my own designs that I have on my Facebook group for my cross-stitching pattern business, which is Total Cross Stitch. It is for free. This is, oh geez, you know, this is Sunlight. So I wound up doing a lot of it, goodness, words. I wound up doing a bit of the yellow. I'm really close to actually finishing, I think, a page up here. I think I just have this column and this column to do, but I was completing down here in the yellow because I just wanted something bright and something not a lot to work on. So there is Sunlight. This is 1/1 on 28 count. Most of my kits are either 16 or 14 count at this moment. This is 28 count 1/1, and it is a free pattern on Total Cross Stitch called Sunlight. I have 2 patterns that are for free on there. The rest are on in my Etsy store from Total Cross Stitch. So there is that. And I think when I did that, I got to, let me get in here on Pattern Keeper. Yes, my patterns are actually Pattern Keeper accessible. I don't think that's the right word. They are able to be loaded into Pattern Keeper. It will ask like a couple questions about if there's an overlap, but the answers to those are just going to be no. So I have, as far as stats go for Sunlight, I am at 18.63%, and I have stitched 16,298 stitches out of 87,500. So it's like, this pattern is not very big. My goal with my cross stitch patterns was to make them kind of like the size of a mini from Heaven and Earth Designs in a way. Just not quite the same size as theirs, but it's roughly about that size, because I felt like you can still pack a lot of detail into a smaller size pattern that is manageable, and I wanted patterns to be more manageable as far as like size wise, so that way you could actually see yourself completing it in your lifetime or any lifetime. And my colors, like, there will still be some confetti in some of them not so much, because it is rendered from photos that are all public domain photos. And the colors, I put in as much as like 90 colors is usually what I go for, but the picture will only render what is there. So Sunlight, if I'm not mistaken, is like 60. Click. Come on. UPD. I think it's 61. Yeah. Sunlight only has 61 colors. So there's a lot of block colors all throughout, but it's not been terribly bad at all. I feel like I haven't had any really big issues having the block colors, and it does blend in. I've been trying to get down to the bottom to see where some of the stuff is and get to some of the other colors to just kind of see what bits and pieces blend in, but so far so good. It's not horrible. One of the other ones that I would love to pull it back out is Hot Air Balloon. I am roughly in the same position as Sunlight with it, but it has a little bit more color changes in the beginning because of all the clouds. Anywho, Sunlight has 2 pages that are completed, and the like 1, 2, 3, 4 others that are started. One is very close to being finished, and Sunlight was also one that I was just kind of like, excuse me, talking a lot and it's getting late. don't mix with a person that goes to bed early. Sunlight was one of the patterns that I was starting to try to, or I had started converting to Royal Rose, which I'm sure you kind of saw a little bit of that, but my entire stitching style is usually parking and completing like block by block and page by page. I am very meticulous as far as like how I stitch. However, once you see my last project that I started, which I started this month, you'll realize that that kind of all went out of the... my stitching style has completely changed. And the meticulousness of it completely changed. Don't know why. When life explodes, habits change. Anywho, I did one day out of, I think, last month work on Supersized Max Color Once Upon a Fairy Tale. I almost completed this page, which is page 1, and I have actually reached 1%, which is awesome because I never thought I was going to get there on this page, on this entire project. This project has been unreal. It is unreal. So I originally started this on 28 count fabric, to which I had only like the smallest little corner up here, so I just kind of ripped that out, and yeah, I ripped it out, and then I decided to start it 1/1 10th stitch on 32 count. So that's what this is 1/1 10th stitch on 32 count. I love 1/1 10th on 32 count. A lot of my full coverages recently have been 1/1 10th on 32 count, because it's just, it kind of makes stuff a little smaller. I don't have to do the full cross on it, which is nice. So that also makes things go a little bit faster because I'm doing it a little quicker because of only doing one leg of my crosses. Also, if you notice, this is my absolute favorite needle minder, the Velociraptor. My favorite movie is Jurassic Park. My favorite movie series is Jurassic Park. I'm all about the dinosaurs. So anything dinosaurs, I'm there for. Like, I literally, in February, went to the Jurassic World live tour. Yes, it was totally for children. Yes, I'm turning 32 this month. I still went. I still had a blast. I thought it was fantastic. Because I love dinosaurs. And this particular one is my favorite. The Velociraptor is my favorite dinosaur. The most deadly of them all. Yes, is my favorite. But this was my favorite line from Jurassic Park. It is the clever girl. I love it. That is my favorite. So, that is where I got to that. I think I only put in like 400 or 500. Excuse me. 400 or 500 stitches on that one. So, the second to last thing that I started was another kit. Now this is my one and only Marejka kit, and I bought it. I actually had to get them to email me on 123 Stitch when it came back in stock. This is on, I think this is on 16 count. Yeah, this is 16 count. It's a light blue Ada from Zweigart, and this is She Sleeps. So She Sleeps is also a pattern off of Heaven and Earth Designs, which I liked and I've seen people do, but I liked the idea of the kit, and this fabric actually seems like it's a little smaller for 16 count. To me, it does anyway. It seems like it's kind of like an 18 count, but it's not. It's 16. Anywho, I didn't like the idea of it coming from Heaven and Earth Designs because I still had to get fabric, and I didn't want to have to buy pattern and fabric. Because I don't know about y'all, but fabric is expensive right now. And I felt like I was doing great with the fact that whenever this kit became available, that it had the fabric, it had the pattern, and it had threads. And I was just like, yeah, we're doing that. We're doing it. Did I pay a nice price for it? Because I have never bought a kit that was quite this pricey. Yes. Is my dog an absolute whiny butt? Yes. Is she so happy that I just acknowledged her? Yes. I will tell you, I paid a little over, I'm going to say it, I don't really remember like the exact amount, but it was in the $60 to $65 range for the Mereshka kit that I purchased. There are, I'd have to look again. I feel like there was one more. I don't know if there was one more from them that I wanted or not. But I will say they are an investment. It's an investment. As any cross-stitch pattern and fabric and all of the things, it's an investment because you're investing not only your time and effort and life to it, but you are investing your money, and so you need to really be prepared to pay something for it. So this kit is probably my most expensive kit that I've purchased to date. No, it's not. Lie. That's lied. My most expensive kit is the Aztec Warrior from Gecko Rouge. That one's the most expensive. But this one is like second place. Anywho, so I center started her, and I think this is like the start of the girl's cheek, like right around here area, because the start point is in the flowers. So I started it there, and this is the bottom of the like quarter, or the bottom of the first page where I have been working is right here, and I'm just trying to work it way over that way to get to some of those blocky colors in her face. I discovered, oddly enough, in this kit, or in this kit and the pattern, it's not completely 100% full coverage, which I thought was neat. So, like, this bit of light blue right here, yeah, this bit of light blue, and there's some in here. It's not stitched. That's the fabric. So I thought that was kind of neat, and would be like a little bit of a different aspect on it. So fun fact about, in case you were curious about as far as threads, if you've never worked with a Mereshka kit, they come on the cards like this, like the Riolis. There it is. Mind blank. They come on the cards like the Riolis, but they are DMCs, so they're cottons. They are not like the Riolis, which is the wool acrylic. And for those of you who are wondering, when I do work on paper patterns, I used to highlight. I still highlight some, but for the most part, I don't really highlight on my patterns anymore. Don't know how that works. Anywho, last but not least is a little bit of a pride and joy kind of new start. I had bought some 32 count that I was supposed to, well, in mind's eye, whenever I bought it, it was a big enough piece to do by a supersized Farewell to Anger from Leonid Afimov, which I had bought several years ago when life got in the way again at some point, and I was deeply upset at that point in my life as well, because it revolves around the same thing that's happening now. But I did not want to but I did not want to have sorry. I did not want to have any bad attachments or thoughts to my cross-stitch pieces. I really don't want to have any bad thoughts and attachments to any of my pieces because they're supposed to be joyful. They're supposed to be what gets you out of the bad and deep and heavy things. It's supposed to be happy and joyful, and I just did not want that. So I decided to take that fabric and cut it up into as many patterns that I could get it to. I chose 3 that I fully have it cut, and I have a weird cut of fabric now that I'm going to have to see what I can fit to parts of it, which is fine. The first one that I chose is, well, it was a limited freebie at the time when it came out. I don't remember when it came out, but it is, oh jeez. Huh! Blown out of proportion is what that is. Let's see if I can turn, is that gonna help? Well, sorta. So, for those of you who don't know, it's Peacock Daisy. I don't think you're going to see it very well on this. You can't really see it very great. I don't know. Something. Oh no. Yeah, it's getting blown out of proportion. It's Peacock Daisy. Peacock Daisy is the wonderful blues, and it's beautiful, beautiful blues, some turquoise, and then there's a little bit of whites and green, light greens, and like the tan colors, and then it's got a purple center. Well, I got my fabric, and I know I measured it perfectly, it's fine, but I decided I was going to start in the center and just kind of work my way out, because I wanted it to just be one of those projects that I could just kind of almost color complete, which was an oddity in and of itself for me. So I started it. This is on 32 count, 1/1 half stitch. I started it. Did I start it? Let us see, because when I posted the first time, weird. My wrong number apparently is trying to make friends with me. How odd. So weird. I have the most worst luck with like new people. With wrong numbers. That's so weird. Don't get me wrong, girls pretty and all, but we don't swing that way. No offense. Good grief. Thank you, Instagram, for saying 6 days ago instead of the date. My brain can't comprehend anything. When you say 6, just give me the date. Dairy. Jeez. 6 days ago. What's today? The 8th. Every second. Okay. Gosh. I knew it was the beginning of this month. I swear, I'm okay. So weird. Sorry, I'm flipping out. My wrong number is being weird. That's creepy. I don't deal with that. Odd. Anywho, I started this on the 2nd of April. So strange. My life is just so weird all of a sudden. Started it on the 2nd of April. Jeez. In the very middle, I've completed 10 colors. Yeah, 10 colors altogether. And I have reached 1.46%. And I've stitched so far 4,035 stitches out of 275,000. Wow, I can count. 275,625 stitches. And it looks like this. Yes, it looks a little messy. That's because I'm a front starter and ender. I do not like to run threads underneath. I will only do that on kits, but not on this high count fabric. I refuse, because I'm not going to try to push a needle underneath the tiniest of tiny things. I will show you the back of this because this is horrendous for me. My backs of everything are so wonderfully, like, sort of, they're neat enough, but this is like, it's not terrible, but it's like, who massacred this thing? Because I have had absolutely no care in the world as far as like, oh, we're just gonna do this color, oh, we're gonna do this color. There have been some colors that I haven't been able to complete all the way, but I've completed them in this area. As far as like in this area, some of them are just like way up at the top, and I'm not counting all the way up there, and I'm not pulling out another color yet to do it up there. They will get done when I get up in that section, up in that area, because we're literally doing it, gonna go out and around, because most of it, I'll show you. So on, if you can see it, on Pattern Keeper, jokes. Gosh, let's see here. Can we see it in the dark theme? I don't know. Not really. Okay, well, so if it wasn't so blown out to proportion, you would realize that like most of it, it all goes kind of like in a round area. I mean, duh, floral. Daisy has the center, and then, you know what a flower looks like. It's great. It's great stuff. I know what a flower looks like. I know what everything looks like, apparently, but I just don't know how to explain it. So they kind of start, it's kind of like mandala-ish. You start in the center, and then it just kind of grows out and grows out and all that. And, I'm having fun doing this, apparently. So I kind of had that idea, and at the beginning I was just like, something's weird, it's not blending, it's not doing this, because I have this random, like, really dark patch in there, but it's supposed to be there. I checked in, like, finished pictures of some other people's, and it's in there, so it's not just mine. It's not just weird on my part, it's in there. It's just a, like, shadow where the center bit is, like, covering up, because there's little bits that are like hugging the center. I don't know why I'm doing that. Whatever. It's just that way. So I kind of just have really been enjoying that in that way. My next couple of things that I want to start are going to be Puppies on a Shelf by Pain-Free Crafts. I don't remember. It is Puppies on a Shelf. Is it Pain-Free Crafts? Jeez. Well, I'm going to show you the mock-up, and then I'm going to make sure it is who it is. This is Puppies on a Shelf. Wait. There you go. There's Puppies on a Shelf. Of course, the Westie is getting very blown out. Who is this? Yes, that is Pain-Free Crafts. And then, Mini Christmas 2, which is Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is a Sarah Marchetti. Sorry, there is a Samsung is evil. Apparently, there is a glare. Sorry. But those are the two others that were picked. I wonder if I can get it closer and make the other one come out. Let's find out. Well, sorta. You can't really get a good view of the pictures, but, you know, it is there. It's incredibly blown out. That didn't work as well as I thought it was going to on that one. Aha! So creepy. So yeah. That is all the things. I have done absolutely no stitching today because tomorrow's Easter. Yay, happy Easter. I've done absolutely no stitching today. I feel like I should pick up something, but at this moment I just don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh well. But that's all the stuff that I've worked on so far. This month and last month. It's kind of just been a little jumping around all over the place. A lot more than I would like. And some stuff is not so much. I mean, practically almost every day since starting Peacock Daisy, that's all I've worked on, so there's been that. Except for on April 3rd, which is when I worked on the Stormtrooper, but yeah, you know. Anywho, I'm going to sign off here. Probably start getting ready for bed. And hope that tomorrow's another day, and hopefully it'll be a brighter day and a little bit nicer. And a little bit easier. We'll see. Anywho, I hope you all have a wonderful Easter, and yeah, have a good weekend. Bye.